Dear students of Honors Part 4, you are welcome to today's lecture. I am Siddhartha Shankar, an assistant professor in English in Government Haroganga College, Munshiganj. Dear students, in my last few classes, I have discussed on a novel that is 20th century, that belong to 20th century novel, that is Heart of Darkness. And today I am going to discuss from that course that is entitled 20th century novel. That is another novel, that is D.H. Lawrence's Sons and Lovers. So dear students, you are requested to follow my classes regularly to know something about this novelist and about this about the novel, about the novel Sons and Lovers. D.H. Lawrence in full, David Herbert Lawrence. David Herbert Knowles. He was basically an English novelist, and he was born on September 11, 1885 in Nottinghamshire, England, and died on March 2, 1930 in Venice, France. He is a well-recognized English author of novels, short stories, poems, plays, essays, travel books, and letters. And his novels, Sons and Lovers, The Rainbow, and Women in Love made him one of the most influential English writers of the 20th century. Indeed, he is a very famous novelist, and the novel that is included in your syllabus, named as Sons and Lovers, which was published in 1913, and this is almost autobiographical novel. And The Heart of Darkness was also an autobiographical novel that was the reflection of author's life. The life of novelist was there in this novel. And here in this novel we also find a close reflection of the life of D.H. Lawrence in the protagonist of Sons and Lovers. Therefore, I think whenever we will go through this novel, or we will discuss several characters of this novel, we will find Lawrence himself here, and his family life, his philosophy, everything has been displayed here in this novel. And it is a modern novel. Therefore, the problems of modern period has been reflected here. And here in this novel we will find that failure of conjugal life, or mismatched marriage, and and through this the life of the Lawrence has been portrayed. And that Lawrence was his father was basically a coal miner. That means his father worked in a coal mine, and his mother was came from his mother basically came from a sophisticated family. And she was a former school teacher. Therefore, father was not educated here, and mother is a educated lady. And therefore, Lawrence's parents were not satisfied in their conjugal life, or this was a mismatched marriage indeed. And uh, you know this marriage this life, this married life has been has been described in this novel, The Sons and Lovers. And that lady, Lawrence's mother, was somehow harsh towards his father, because he was not much polished as she expect. because that man, that father of Lawrence, used to work hard throughout the day in the mine, in the deep of the mine, and in the evening he used to drink, and the other worker also used to do. And therefore, after coming back in the residence, he actually didn't make good behavior with his wife. That's why Lawrence's mother was not happy at all in this life, and therefore she sought some pleasure in his issues, in her issues, that in her sons and daughters. And the same thing happened also. The same description we will find in this novel. And for about D.S. Lawrence, because he started his education in Nottinghamshire High School, and he earned a scholarship there, and later he gave up. He started a job as a clerk in a surgical goods manufacturer office, and later he left this job because of his that ill health, that is he was suffering from pneumonia. And he became a later he became a professional writer, and he became a very good writer. He became a very successful writer in his career. Uh, very interesting thing happened in his life, that is he went to a professor of that is a professor of Nottinghamshire College to seek some that advice from him to build up his career. And there he met the professor's wife, and professor's wife was at least 5 years older than Lawrence, and he fell in love with that lady. And that lady had uh, three issues, former three issues, and leaving these husband and issues, that lady named Farida Weekly eloped with D.S. Lawrence. D.S. Lawrence eloped uh, with that lady from there, and their conjugal life started. But this cannot be a happy one, because that lady was much more attachment with his previous family, as she had issues there, and issues there. And Lawrence also he also faced some difficulty to manage this conjugal life. So this was not a happy one at all. And in this novel, Sons and Lovers, we will find the similar incident in the life of Paul. Paul is the protagonist of the novel Sons and Lovers. And in July 1914, that Lawrence married Farida, that is Farida. Uh, she was the wife of that professor. And in 1914 is the year when the First World War started. Therefore, they have to. It was a period of very much chaos, and imbalance situation was there at the time. Uh, and therefore, in 1960, he went with his wife to live in a cottage on the Cornish coast in order to try to save something of his creative life from what seemed the wreckage of civilization. That means he basically, as a man of creative fellow, he wanted to seek some peace or isolation of mind, and uh, uh, he was very much tensed about the wreckage of civilization. And he basically was misunderstood even by the English, because his wife was a German one, and therefore the people that time, the people of England, that is especially the ruler of England, misunderstood him. And there was some obscene writings in his novels, obscene topic, and therefore he was misunderstood, and he was he didn't have the shelter in England also at that time. And this all created some sort of despair in his mind. And after the end of the World War, he traveled in different countries, in USA, in Ceylon, Sicily, and he also traveled in Mexico. And whenever he was in Mexico, that pneumonia was found, was diagnosed, and and eventually he died of this disease. And he died in mm, he died or died of this disease. And mm, you know uh, died of the disease on France, Mediterranean coast. He died in the country France. So uh, throughout his life, he was seeking refuge from the industrial society, industrial civilization. And and this is actually this was a great problem throughout his life. And dear students, today I have tried to give some description, or I wanted to describe on life of this great novelist D.S. Lawrence, and about the novel The Sons and Lovers. In my later classes, I will discuss uh, more about this novel. So thank you for watching today.